So there's the age-old question, what's better, Disney or Universal? There's no straight answer to that one, but in this video I'm going to break it down into different sections, and then you can decide based on what's most important to you. Okay, so the first thing to compare the parks is the size. Now, excluding water parks, there are 4 theme parks in Disney, there are 2 in Universal. So, funnily enough, Disney has 35-ish attractions. In terms of raw attractions, Universal currently has 32. Now, they're obviously building Epic Universe, which opens in 2025, which will add a whole bunch more rides. But right now they only have 32. So this one goes to Disney. So the next thing to compare the parks is how they handle their Fast Pass system. Disney used to have Fast Pass, now it's got Genie Plus, which I've got on this trip. It's cheap. People complain about the price. It's cheap. It's like $20 a day. Like, it's hundreds of quid back home for a Fast Pass for the day. So 20 quid is nothing. Yes, if you've got a family, it adds up. However, Genie Plus, you need to study the damn thing. You need a degree, it's complicated, it has more rules than anything else. You can't just rock up and get on a ride like you'd expect. So, not a fan. When it comes to Express Pass at Universal, it's a much more traditional Express Pass in that you don't have this crazy booking stuff on an app and you can only use it once and all the 2-hour wait and all the complications that you have with Genie Plus. You just rock up to a line, show your pass, job done. On the flip side though, it is significantly more expensive. So Genie Plus is what, about 20 bucks? This is like 150 to 200 bucks depending on the day. So it's much better to use, it's also a lot more expensive. I'm gonna put this one as a draw. What about food options? Well, Disney's got you covered. In most places they have tons and tons of carts and quick serve and sit down restaurants. Mixed bag if you're a vegetarian. I'm doing a separate video on that, so if you are interested in that one, hit like, hit subscribe, and keep an eye out for that one. One thing I would say though, if you're going to be eating here, is that if you want a sit down restaurant, you probably need to book. You can get lucky, we just did, we walked up to Yakka Yeti and waited 30-40 minutes, something like that. Typically though in Disney, all the sit down restaurants, they fill up very, very quickly, certainly well before you even get here, so strongly recommend that you book in advance. So when it comes to food options, Universal has you covered, as well as Disney. Tons of quick serve, tons of sit down restaurants. You may need to reserve for City Walk, not necessarily. You'll probably get away with it, we have. I'm doing another video on vegetarianism and how easy it is to find food if you're vegetarians. So far it's been easier in Universal than Disney. That's not to say Disney doesn't have any. Also, Universal does the freestyle cups, so you can pay once and drink all day long. Disney doesn't do that. So this point goes to Universal. So what about theming? Well, Disney has immersive lands like this, Galaxy's Edge. Spectacular. In terms of theming, Universal has Harry Potter. The only thing I can think of at Universal that is not themed is Rip Ride Rocket. So this one, it's a draw. Universal obviously has a photo pass. It's a very traditional one. You can select your photos, which is fantastic. But it only comes in 1 day and 3 day, which I've got a 14-day ticket. Why can't I have one that's the same length as my ticket? Disney does that. But Disney's also got you covered when it comes to photos. They do have the on-ride experience. They also have photographers all over the shop. They have the Magic Zoom as well. The good thing about theirs is that your Memory Maker lasts the same length as your ticket. So in my case, I'm here for 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks of Memory Maker. I'm not a massive fan of how they do it though, because sometimes you touch your magic band to the photo and it might work. Sometimes they go, I think I found you on a ride, and it might work. And sometimes you can actually pick it. I prefer to be able to select my photos. I am, however, going to give the point to Universal, because despite the fact that the ticket isn't the same length as your park ticket, I do prefer being able to select my own photos rather than it trying to automatically do stuff. So Universal wins this one. So what about price? Well, right now, back in the UK, I can get a 14-day ticket for Disney for $4.99. So what's that? 36 quid a day, $25? Is that the right way around? 25 quid a day, $36. It's reasonably cheap if you buy it in advance and back home. You buy it over here on the day, not so much. And here at Universal, I can get a 2-week ticket for £334, which is £24 a day or $30 a day. That makes Universal the winner. Then when it comes to shows, Universal has got the Bourne-Stuntacular, which is spectacular because it uses technology in a very unique way. You have to go see that one. Disney has shows like The Lion King and Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. I would say this one's probably a draw. Bourne-Stuntacular is fantastic, the technology is amazing. But that Lion King show, that is really good. When it comes to thrills, Universal's got 19 thrilling attractions, even though it has 4 parks. Disney only has 16 thrilling rides. That makes that the winner. Universal. When it comes to transportation at Universal, there isn't really very much. There are buses if you are in the hotels that are a little further afield. There are boats if you are also in hotels that need transport. That's it. There's the Hogwarts Express to get between the 2 parks. It's a much smaller place. It'll be interesting to see when Epic Universe opens up how they get you from one part to the other. I'm assuming they're going to lay on a bus. And when it comes to transportation, it'll be no surprise that Disney has a ton more options because they are significantly larger than Universal. You've got the monorail, you've got the minivans, you've got the buses, you've got the sky ride, you've got the ferry. Like, there are tons and tons of options. So in terms of getting around, Disney wins this one. And the final thing to compare the 2 parks is their accommodation. Both parks have a wide variety of options from budget right the way up to Premier. I have stayed in Animal Kingdom Lodge and I have stayed in Hard Rock. And I would say, out of the 2 of them, I much preferred Animal Kingdom. Much nicer hotel, the animals were fantastic. The one thing I will give to Universal, it does include Express Pass, and Disney lately have been removing all of the perks of staying on site, apart from early access. That said, based on my experience of the hotels, I'm going to give this one to Disney. Well, that's my Disney versus Universal comparison. It's obviously very subjective. It's quite difficult to be scientific around this when it is very much kind of personal opinion. So I'd love to hear yours down below. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What is your favourite park? Hit that like button. Help me hit 10k. Smash that subscribe button too. I have been Chris. You've been watching Coaster Dad. See you in the next one.